Let me ask you something. Has this ever happened to you?
Hey, I need to get my headlight fixed. I got a Volvo. I'm hoping to just get in and out.
Sure.
Can I go ahead and get that, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes or so?
Sure, of course. Right now, actually, we're looking about 16 hours.
Damn.
How about this?
Hey, bud, just here to check on my truck. It's in bay number 3.
Okay. Yeah, so we've diagnosed your truck.
Awesome.
We figured out what was the problem.
Sweet. So in and out?
Yeah, you're talking 2 to 3 weeks once we get parts in. That's our time frame right now. 2 to 3 weeks until we get our parts in.
Double damn.
What's up, everybody? So today I'm at Triton in Bolingbrook, Illinois. Now, since COVID hit us, we've had all kinds of issues, and truckers, it's basically all things availability, from mechanics to parts. Today I'm going to be talking with a gentleman who's going to walk us through everything from parts availability to parts still on the impossible list, and then what to do if you get to a place where you need a part and can't find one. We're going to be talking about all of that and more today. I'm John with Translines Inc., and this is OTR Survival.
Oh yeah, it's on. Let's go! If you are watching this show, that means you want to know how to become a professional. Oh shit! Like me.
I'm here with Brandon. Now, Brandon is the fleet administrator. Now, originally he was a mechanic and a wrench hand, so with his knowledge of behind the desk and in front of it, oh yeah, he's perfect for what we need today. So let's get into this. Big question, where are we exactly on part shortages from when COVID kind of hit us and really knocked everything out to 2 years later?
We're still kind of recovering. It's nowadays, we still have water pumps back, not available at the moment. We still have some DPF issues, so we're still trying to recuperate. But for the time being, we're just going at day by day.
What parts exactly are you having a real hard time getting a hold of?
Like I said before, usually it's going to be the water pumps. Usually those are huge. More of the DPFs as well. Those are going to be, we only could have a plethora of them on hand at a certain amount of time. That's usually about the 2 bigger ones.
So how long does it take you to get some of those in?
Right now, considering there's some of them are on national back order, we're talking probably 3 to maybe 4 to maybe 8 weeks max.
Wow.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Damn, that's a long way, bro.
It's a long time. It's a long way.
Okay, on the other hand,
Sure.
Have you seen anything that was hard for you to get a hold of that's gotten a lot easier now?
Sure, of course. I would say that the filters, fuel filters, air filters, those are pretty hard to get at a certain amount of time. But now, since time's progressed, we've been able to get 50 plus on hand. It's a lot more accessible now.
So is that like across the board, Mack Truck, Freightliner, Peterbilt?
Correct. Yes, that would pretty much complete all the name brands out there, and we're just now we're able to get all of those all at once. Mm-hmm.
So on some of these hard parts, is there something that a driver can do on his own to maybe speed the process up in finding some of these harder deals that you guys are working with?
Yes, usually if for instance like owner operators or any type of driver out there, if they're willing to do a little bit of research, you can check eBay, or you can also check another good place called Pickup Parts. Usually those are probably your big go-tos.
So moving on, what about the massive mechanic shortage? Like I'm out over the roads and I'll hit like TA or Love's or Pilot,
Yep.
And they're like, oh yeah, we've got one mechanic on duty, and then we have one guy that comes in part-time. And so, you end up waiting 2-3 days to get a headlight fixed. Is that something that you guys are having an issue with here as well?
Yes, I think every shop is. We're all just trying to recuperate from the whole pandemic, but as time progresses, eventually we'll kind of have more mechanics swing in and help us out, and eventually we're just in that bad luck situation.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the things that maybe a driver could fix on their own and not have to wait in a 3-day frickin' line to get into the shop for something that they could have taken 10 minutes on them?
Sure. I see a lot of truck drivers usually coming in with headlight issues.
Sure.
Usually that's one of our biggest things, whether they go out or they lose the fluorescent inside the bulb,
Sure.
or they're bad wiring also.
Well, do you think you could maybe walk us through some of these?
Sure.
That'd be awesome. Let's
All right.
do that.
Awesome.
See you in a minute.
Awesome.
All right, Brandon. Why don't we talk about these headlights here? What can we do with those?
Sure. So these are your basic standard halogen bulb headlight setup. Usually this is pretty standard, so you're going to get a little bit of everything on this. You'll have your high beams, your low beams, all on the bottom side of this, and then also your turn signal up top.
All right. So how do we go about changing the headlight in that thing?
Sure. So I'm going to open up this hood here. We'll be able to look behind the backside. So once you get that, here we are. This is it's going to be a newer style Cascadia Freightliner with the regular halogen bulb setup. So you're not going to get that LED module that sits up top here. So usually what you're going to typically see is these little boot covers. So if you were to have an issue with your lights, all you simply have to do is pull this little boot cover back to get access to the bulb and the connector itself. Once you get the boot cover off and you get the whole hood open, you're going to want to pull this little red tab back here. Might be able to see it right here. You're going to have a red tab. On most models, it's pretty standard that you have a tab just so it resecures the harness to the actual bulb itself. So once you have that pulled back, you could take a flathead screwdriver or anything small in here and you could just pry back on it, and then you'll be able to pull the tab, slide it out, and here's your connector. So once you have this connector exposed, obviously you're going to want to check for any crimps, any broken wires, or any exposed copper. And also you want to look at the pins inside, make sure there isn't any corrosion that you could visibly see. That way, if there were to be some corrosion, then it probably is that's probably the main reason why it's causing the bulb to go out bad pretty much, because there's water, it's not sealing properly, pins aren't working as they should. Once you're able to inspect the wire, the harness itself, and the connector end, just make sure that you don't see any corrosion. After that, you're just going to want to go in here counterclockwise. You're going to want to rotate the bulb and pull out. It might give you a little bit of a headache because there is a gasket there. Usually gets stuck back in here. Here's a little gasket. So just be mindful that you don't forget about this gasket. It's very important. This is what makes proper sealant to the headlight housing. So once you pull this guy off, you're going to want to inspect the pins again. If there was corrosion on this, most likely this bulb will have corrosion, almost 100% guaranteed. But you always want to check these two. Another thing you want to check for, if this bulb is not working, you just want to look at the filament inside of this bulb. Usually the filament inside will be cracked, it'll be bent. You could always shake it too, kind of hear anything rattling in there. Most likely this bulb's bad. Other than that, once you have your replacement bulb, same thing, just reverse steps. You're just going to throw it back in there. So same thing, just make sure you have the gasket all the way down, like so. Going to want to stick this guy in there, like that. Make sure it's sitting flush before you twist it, because if you do twist it, you might be able to break the actual plastic inside, and you don't want to do that. That's pretty much a whole housing. So once you do that, just make sure that it's in there properly. Turn it clockwise. That's pretty much it. And then just put back your connector. Plug in the harness. Push the tab in. Give it a little tug. Make sure it's snug. Once you feel like it's snug, you'll be able to put this little boot cover back on. And that's it for the low beam. So the next thing I want to touch topics on would be your turn signals. If you have access to your turn signal, this is sort of what it's going to look like on most models. It's going to be in this general area as well. You're going to see usually a bigger connector. And so what you're going to do is you're going to go in this guy, same thing counterclockwise, and you're just going to pull out, give it a little tug. You'll be able to pull this guy out like so. This gives you access to the turn signal. You always want to keep an eye out for the gasket too, little O-ring guy. And this is how you're really going to change the bulb. It's pretty easy too. You know, you want to look at the connector itself, but you also want to look at the bulb too. Usually this is a pretty common bulb that goes out. So what you want to do, if you're just going to replace the bulb, not anything else, you're just going to pull this guy back. There she goes. Pretty self-explanatory. Just going to see a couple pins here. Just check the filament again. If you could see stuff inside, rattle it. You know, put it by your ear, rattle it. It's pretty easy. If it's out visibly, just put a new one in. Plug it back in. There you go. So let's say vice versa, if you're having problems with just the bulb, you know, you replace the bulb and it's still not turning on. You do have this whole assembly right here that connects to this harness. It's pretty easy. You're just going to want to pull this little tab down, and you're just going to lift up. If you have difficulty, you can actually put a flathead screwdriver in there. Let's see here. Okay, so like that. This guy down. So after you get this clip off, this whole connector is going to come out. It's going to be a 3-pin connector right in there. You're going to want to check these guys for corrosion, same as any headlight, because if this has corrosion, most likely harness is bad, or you have a bad connector piece here, and that's what's causing the bulb itself to die out and not work properly. Once you inspect all the cables and harness, just make sure there's no frayed wires or anything that's burned or touching, rubbing on anything. Once you check everything else out and the pins, just gonna plug this back in like so. You're gonna hear a click noise. Once you hear that click, just give it a little tug. Make sure it's not going anywhere. And then you're just gonna reverse the process and just put this guy right back in here. Once you feel that it's sitting flush with the actual assembly, you're just going to counterclockwise, or clockwise I should say, and then there she goes. Just give it a little tug and make sure all your wires are nice and sturdy, nothing's hanging or getting crimped or smashed while you hold, while you have the hood down, and that's it.
Well, that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank Titan Logistics for allowing me to do this video. I want to thank Brandon, and I also want to thank Drew. He's the one that set the whole thing up. So thank you very much, everyone. I had a ball. I'm just so grateful to have been able to do this one for you guys. Also, some new news. Got the new decal on the truck, the whole OTR survival thing. I'm digging that. And also, I'm now on TikTok. My daughter is helping me pull that one off. So thank you, Ashley, for helping me try to figure out what the hell TikTok is and how that works. So if you want to see some hilarious outtakes that she's put together, check me out on TikTok at OTR Survival on TikTok. They're awesome. I've laughed my ass off. She knows how to make me look like a bigger idiot than I actually am. Well, never mind. No, I'm actually that big of an idiot. But at least she knows how to make me look nice. So till next time, take some time to have fun. We'll see you. Bye-bye.